Hello. Today we have another video. Someone requested this video. Is how to find a short circuit with a switching power supply. In this case, the FNIRSI DPS-150. Okay. Now we have a fully working laptop in here, and we can test it before. I don't have the jack cable in here, but I have some cable. You see on this HP, well, on HP usually you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cables. Now we have 2 grounds in here, which are the black ones. We have 2 reds in here, which are the plus. Then we have the brown one, which is the adapter ID pin, and then we have these 2 for the LED on the other on the jack connector. We can ignore these 2. Let's ignore the ID pin for now as well, and we'll see that it's not going to work without it. Now I have the bench power supply set to 19.5 volts, so let's put the ground in here and let's put the plus in here. Okay, make sure you keep this away, the ID pin from the 19 volts, because this pin goes to the EC chip. Now if I press the power button, you see it's not working. If we measure, if we got any voltage in, we have, let's see, we have 19 volts in here. We have 19 volts on the MOSFET, and we have 19 volts on the output of the MOSFET. The main power is 8 volts. So we do have all the voltages, but the laptop refuses to start. You see, it's not starting. It's not starting because it doesn't know what adapter you have. And because it doesn't know what adapter you have, it's not going to start. Okay, so we can try to trick it. Okay, let's first turn off the power supply. Now I'm going to use a second power supply in this case. Let me see. Okay, we're going to use a second power supply, which we're going to set to 0.8 volts, 100 milliamps. Now we're going to put the plus of this 800 millivolts in here, and the ground to any ground. Okay, and let's give it the 19 volt. Okay, let's put this cable like this, so we know that this is the 0.8. okay, and keep it protected from the other ones. Okay, so we have the 0.8 on this with the ground from the 0.8 in here, and then we have in here the 19 and 19. Let's give it a go. I just plugged in the 19 volts. Let's try without turning on the power supply for the 0.8. It's not working. Let me turn on the 0.8 power supply. And now, if I press the power button, now it's starting. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if we get any picture. You see, we get picture, right? The laptop is starting. Pressing the power button, the laptop starts. Pressing the power button, the laptop stops. Now, maybe you will think the cable were not properly connected. Okay, let me remove the power. So you see the fan stopped. Okay, let me remove the 0.8 volts. Okay, so the 0.8 is here, right? And let's plug the 19 volts again. And now we don't have an ID pin. You see, it doesn't start. Now let me connect again the 0.8 minus and plus. Turn on the power supply for the 0.8 and let's press the power button again. Pressing the power button, it is coming on. Pressing the power again. Let's see if we can turn it off. Off. Well, now once the laptop has started, okay, if I remove the power ID pin, you see, it doesn't matter anymore. It's only using it when the laptop starts. Okay, so let me turn off the power supply, connect again the ID pin, connect again the power supply, and try to power it on. It's coming on. It's resetting because there's no bias battery. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, so now let's turn off the power supply. Okay, let's turn off the 800 millivolts power supply. Okay, so how are we going to test that? Okay, let's grab this FNIRSI power supply. The problem with the switching power supply is that they have protections. When you're looking for short circuit, you don't want protection. Okay, short circuit protection is not going to help us find the short circuit. So we have the FNIRSI here, right? You know what I'm going to do first? Let's do something else first. Let's do something else. Let's plug in the power. The FNIRSI is off, so let's set it to 20 volts. And let's try to power the laptop on with this power supply. Okay, so you're moving with this button in here, you see, and we are down here now. And now you have a wheel in here. If you're moving the wheel, you see millivolts. And if you're moving, you want to move one digit to the left or one digit to the right, you have this left and right button. Let's go in here and let's go to 20 volts. Okay, so okay, let's go 0 in here. Okay, it won't let me. Maximum is 19.97. Okay, that's the maximum. 5 amps. Okay, so it doesn't really matter 5 amps or not 5 amps. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the FNIRSI here, and where the plus is here, and see if we can power on the laptop with the FNIRSI. Now the power supply is off, so pressing the power button, obviously nothing happens. You have to press once this button. You see it's on. You see these lights as well. So pressing now the power button. Okay, wait, I didn't plug in the power ID pin. Let me turn off the FNIRSI. Let me plug in the other power supply with a 0.8 volts for the ID pin. Okay, so we have the FNIRSI connected. We have the other power supply with a 0.8 for the ID pin connected. Let's power on the FNIRSI. Let's press the power button. The laptop is coming on the FNIRSI. Let's see. You see it's taking about 0.6 amps. Is the laptop working? Yes, it's working, and it's running on this one. You see, if I turn, you see the power button in here, right? I turn off the FNIRSI power supply, it's gone off. Okay, but this was not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video was to use this power supply to find short circuit. Okay, so first of all, you need to press the house button. You see, you got like a little housey thing, and you go to the menu. Now you have the power settings. Over voltage protections, this will protect it from the input. When the input goes over whatever you set it in here. Okay, so how we go down? Okay, here. Where's the maximum? So let's see, where's the maximum? 30. Okay, so the maximum is 31 volts. Let's leave it 30 like it was. Over current protection. This is when the current is over the limit. In this case, 5 amps. Let's see what's the maximum we can set it. 5.1 is maximum, okay? And the power, you can say when the power is 150 watt, when the temperature of the unit is 80 degrees, or under voltage when the input power supply is under 5 volts, you will cut. Okay, now we have it set to 5 amps. Usually I think it comes like 3 amps. Let's set it to 2 amps. No, 2.1. Let's set it to 2.1. Okay. Okay. What else we have? System, language, theme, brightness, volume, and that's it. Okay. Okay. So we're going now. We have a limit now. 2.1. Okay. We don't have anything in here now. Let's set this. No. Let's do something. Let's try again the laptop. Okay. Let's see if it's still working. So we're going to connect again the other power supply. Now you can use your laptop adapter or whatever. Let's see. So let's connect the plus as well. Plug in this. Let's turn it on. You see it's still coming on from the other power supply. Now let's create you see the laptop is working, right? Okay, now let's create a short circuit. Okay, let's remove the power supply. Let's cut the power. Now let's create a short circuit. How do we create a short circuit? Let's create a short circuit on the main power line. Okay, let's see. Let's simulate a capacitor in here. You see, we have that cap in there. We have nothing next to it. So what happens when a capacitor goes bad? You will create a short circuit between the plus and the ground. Okay, so we created our short circuit. Okay, let's remove. Okay, come on. Okay, so we have the short circuit in there. Let's see if we do have a short circuit. So from here to here, we have short circuit. Okay, so we have a short circuit in there, right? Now if I try to power on the laptop, let me turn on the power supply for the 0.8 volts. All the cables are still connected, right? Plug in the power supply, pressing the power button, nothing. The BQ chip will not start the starting sequence if there is a short circuit on the board. You will just cut the power to the MOSFET and nothing happens, okay? So you plug in your power supply, the little LED on the power supply turns off. That tells you there's a short circuit protection. So everything turns off to protect your laptop, right? Let's see how is our short circuit in here going on. Yeah, pretty short. There is a thin wire in there. I don't think it's gonna take too much power, but anyway. Now, how are we going to find the short? Well, if you have a thermal camera, use a thermal camera. Otherwise, you can use alcohol or your finger. So we take the FNIRSI, right? We put the negative to the ground in here. Let's take something. Let's take this. Okay, so you have this. Let's set it to when you're looking for short circuits, the voltage is not that important. So let's set this to a safe voltage. Let's set it to 1 volt. Okay, with 1 volt we can't burn anything. Now we do have 5 amps. Let's leave it to 5 amps, but we have a protections that we set earlier for, what was the protection? The protection is 2.1, so the power supply should turn off. So we have a short circuit on the main power rail. So if we come with power, let's check first. So any capacitor that is on the main power rail, you see it's beeping both ways, this capacitor. Now let's find the negative of the capacitor. So if we go to resistance, in here we have 0.15 ohms, and in here we have 0.18. so this is the plus side of the capacitor, this is the minus. Okay, so you got the FNIRSI with the ground in there. Before powering on, what I'm going to, oh, I don't need this. Before powering on, what I'm going to do is I'm putting the probe into the plus of this capacitor and turn it on. You see it, the power supply just turned off, so we can't look for anything because now it's off. Okay, the power supply just turned off because the current gone over the 2.1 amps we set. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go back into the menu. Okay, and we're gonna go to the overcurrent protection, and we're gonna go to 5.1. Okay, so that's not the current we have, that is the maximum. 5.1 is when the overcurrent protection will be triggered. You can set it to 2. So unless it passes over the 5 amps, it's not going to shut down the power supply. So the power supply is now off. Okay, now we see 5 amps. So now if we look in the on the board here, you see these are the metally bit. So if you see this, if you're not sure if this is what is getting hot, remove the power. You see nothing changes. Okay, so putting back the power. We're back to our 5 volts in here. No, not this one either. So we have our spot in here, you see. Removing is gone. Putting back the power, let's see. It's there. Removing is gone. Let's try it again. I think my camera just going crazy. Let me power it off and on again. Okay, so we are back in business. Applying again heat in there. You see our spot in there. You see, remove, gone. You put it, it's there. You remove it, it's gone. You put it, it's there. Now, you see, it's not shutting down. The power supply is not shutting down because the current protection is set to 5.1 and we are currently just 5 amps. If we set the limit in here to 5.1 as well, we might trigger the current. Let's see, is it still on? It's still on. Okay, so let's see now. 5.1 and no, it's not been triggered because we are not going over. You see the current is going down. You see 1 amp. That's what we set on the power supply. Putting in here is gone down to 0.40, 0.5. The current is gone to the maximum we set, which is 5.1, and that's the watts. Now let's remove our short. Okay, let's remove our short, the short we've created. Okay, so we remove the short, right? Now if we do the same, we come again on this line with the 1 volt. Let's see if we still short circuit. Okay, so we go in here. Let's put this to the beeping mode thing. Okay, so now let me remove the thermal camera. Now putting the multimeter in beeping mode. Let's see if we're still on short in here. The same cap, not short anymore, see? But we removed the short which we created, right? So the short is gone. Now the short is gone. If I come again with this 1 volt in here on this side, you see it's nothing. 1 volt, there's no current, nothing is drawing anything. But the question is this laptop still alive? Well, We're about to find out. So we connected the 20 volts. We connected the 0.8. Let's press the power button. And dead like a rock. Oh yeah, the plus in here doesn't make good contact. But yeah, so connecting the 20 volts back, laptop is still on, still working fine. So this is how you first trigger the laptops to start when you need the ID pin. Okay, so inject about 0.8, does depend the laptop, you can go up to like 5 volts. Start with 0.8, and if you see that it doesn't start, you just go up slowly, 1 volt, 1.2, 1.5, up to like 3.3. It's risky over the 3.3. There are some laptops that goes to like 5 volts, but this is how you trigger the ID pin. On another, you see now if I turn it off, you see the button, you see now it's off. Press the button, it's coming on. Press the button, it's going off. Now I'm using two power supplies now. I'm using one for the 20 volts, which you can use the power adapter if you got it. And then I'm using the another power supply, which I set to 0.8 for the ID pin. Yeah, so this was the video. If you like it, please leave it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.